It is really a pleasure for me to be here today, and it's cool to see some of the younger people here, because I used to come here when I was that age. I was probably about 6 years old when I first came here. I grew up on Long Island. It was a long time ago, back in the 60s. So when I was about the age of these guys, we were first putting people on the moon, and that caught my attention, and I talked to my parents about it, and they took me here to the museum, to the planetarium, and it's very meaningful for me to be able to come back here as an adult, as an astronaut. I live in Texas now because that's where astronauts have to live, but I enjoyed coming back here, and it really is a pleasure for me to be here this morning with you. What you see up there is my flight patch, and those are the names of all my crewmates. I'm the long Italian name on the right-hand side. We were STS-125, and that's a little cartoon of the Hubble Space Telescope, which is where we went. And that's where we went. That is the Hubble Space Telescope. That's what it looked like when we came up on it. Most of the shuttle flights go to the space station, so we were particularly lucky to do something a little bit different, which was go up to the Hubble Space Telescope and work on it. Here's my crew. This picture was taken down in Florida. We did a lot of training. Most of our training was in Houston. Some of it was in Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland. And of course, a lot of it is in Florida, where the space shuttle launches and where we go to launch. This is an armored personnel carrier. In case there's a problem with the shuttle on launch day, you need to get away from it. You evacuate the launch pad, go down to a bunker. If things are really bad, you get inside of this thing and you drive it away. So you practice doing that, which is actually a lot of fun. Megan MacArthur is driving. She was the only female on our flight. She was our flight engineer and a robot operator. She's also an oceanographer. That was her background before she became an astronaut. In the back on the left is John Grunsfeld. John was our lead spacewalker. He had been to Hubble 2 times before. He's an astrophysicist, an astronomer more or less. That's me, the tall guy on the right of John. Below me is Mike Good, who was my spacewalking partner. He was a navigator in the Air Force before he was an astronaut. Next to Mike, going to the right, is Greg Johnson, who was our pilot. He's a former Navy pilot. To the right of Greg is Drew Feustel, who was another spacewalker. He was paired up with John. And the big guy on the right side of the picture is Scott Altman, who was our commander. Scott just recently left NASA, but this was his 4th mission. And before he was an astronaut, he flew in the Navy, and he flew in the movie Top Gun. So he wore the Maverick helmet in some of the scenes and did all those, but he's married, never drove a motorcycle, and mows his own lawn. So a little bit different than the Tom Cruise personality in the movie, but that's the real deal right there.
Liftoff of Spaceship One. Final visit against the vision of Hubble, the deepest grandeur of our universe. Houston, land a small hologram with the STS channel.
Bypass across the board, scooter, no action.
Okay, gotta help me on late for entry? I do. I see him in the bucket. Mid 71.
Atlantis on its way, all 3 engines now throttling down into the area. We get the vehicle passes through the area, maximum dynamic pressure.
Atlantis 210, no action on the MPS H2 altitude.
Houston, we copy, no action.
Back at 104, scooter. 103.
Auto. Okay, that all looks good.
Atlantis, Houston, you are go for orbit off.
Houston, Atlantis, good work. Go for orbit off. Thank you.
So that was our launch. This is a picture of our launch. And launching on the space shuttle, launching into space is quite an experience. You get out there a few hours before the launch itself, and you strap in, and you're sitting on your back looking at your friends. It's a very nice day when we launch. Nice sunny day in Florida. And the countdown keeps going, and sometimes you don't always necessarily go that day. Sometimes they find something that they don't like, weather's not good, or but you just wait, and hopefully you're going to go that day. And it's a couple minutes and then a few seconds. And then when it gets down to 6 seconds, the main engine's light and the shuttle kind of lurches a little bit and then comes back. And at 0, the solid rocket's light, the white rockets are on the side, and it goes. And there's no doubt in your mind you're headed somewhere. By the time you get to the top of the tower, you're going 100 miles an hour, and you go from 0 to 17,500 miles an hour in 8.5 minutes. So the only way I can describe this, it felt like, what was going through my mind was, I felt like some beast had grabbed me, like something out of one of these science fiction movies had grabbed me by the chest and was taking me away from home really fast, and there's nothing I could do about it. It was just, the feeling of power and speed was overwhelming. And it just is, you might as well enjoy it, is the way I figured. So it just was just a lot of fun, actually, sitting there going that fast and feeling that power behind you, pushing you far away. So that was what the experience was like for me. On our 3rd day in space, we rendezvoused with the Hubble Space Telescope, got really close to it, and Megan MacArthur was working a robot arm, and she grabbed it. That's what you see, the white beam-looking thing attached to the telescope. She grabbed it, put it down in our payload bay, and we had brought lots of equipment with us. And we started our spacewalks on the 4th day, and we spacewalked for 5 days. We had 2 teams, so we took turns going out. So this is one of the photos from one of our spacewalks. We had 1 crew member out on the robot arm, and another crew member you can see upside down here. See his legs sitting straight up in there. There's no gravity working on you, so you can get very easily in just about any position you want to get in to do your work. Being inside of the shuttle is magnificent to view the Earth through the window, but it's kind of like being at an aquarium, looking at the pretty fish through a window. When you go outside, it's kind of like now you're a scuba diver, and I really felt like I was a spaceman when I was outside spacewalking. You have the bubble of your helmet is the only thing that restricts your view, and it really doesn't restrict your view. You can see the planet in its entirety. You can see the curvature of the Earth in front of you, and at the same time you can look over and see the stars off of your other shoulder, and it's just incredible. A wonderful experience. We're inside the telescope working on this one, and what I want to show you here, you can see the Earth to the left is kind of dark, and to the right is lit up, and that line that you see is the difference between where it's sunny over the Earth and where it's nighttime. It's the day-night line. And you go around the Earth every 90 minutes. So every 45 minutes you get either a sunrise or a sunset. So in a 24-hour period you get 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets. And it's really cool when you're out there spacewalking. You can kind of feel it coming because there's a huge temperature difference. It's about 200, if you're in direct sunlight, it's about 200 degrees, and in darkness, it's about -200. In sunlight, it's the whitest white I have ever seen. It is completely bright, like a pure white light coming into the sun when it's not coming through the atmosphere when you're out there. And when you get over the dark part of the Earth where it's nighttime, it is the blackest black I have ever experienced. It's like devoid of light. And you can actually feel this as it's kind of like being in the ocean. Sometimes if you go like to a cold part of the ocean, if you're moving around, you get a warm spot. It's kind of that kind of feeling where I could feel it coming, the change in the day coming, and I would look and you could see it. And what's really cool is you're going around this, the Earth is rotating below you, and you see that line, the day-night line, just moving, tracking around as the Earth is moving. You see that line tracking, and you can say, whoa, coming over California, wow, here's the sunrise, and it's nighttime in LA. Now it's daytime. You just see it's just a really cool view to be able to see the night turn into day or day turn into night from that view. This is some film from our spacewalk.
Shroud of the Hubble Space Telescope.
And this is coming from my helmet camera.
The doors,
camera's mounted
doors
on
over
our
the fixed head star trackers and the rate sensor units.
This is a view from a camera on the robot arm.
The opposite,
and that's me inside of the telescope. So this is from my partner, Mike Good's helmet. And we're replacing gyroscopes on the telescope at this point. Beautiful day pass over the Pacific, just past Hawaii. We came over California, and over the United States. It takes about 10 minutes to go across the United States. We hit Florida, and then at that point we were coming over the Atlantic, and it just started to turn into nighttime when it's time for me to come inside. But that was really a treat for me to just be able to hang out, take photos like this in the window, my friends taking pictures of me and enjoying the view. Well, this is some footage of eating in space.
Well, we just finished the starboard survey of the orbiter GPS, and I'm going to get my lunch. So I go to this locker here that says MS2 meals on it, and I pull it out. It shows me all the food with the green dot. It's mine that's in here, so I looked up kind of what I want to eat. This one I was looking for ravioli.
Oh man, it was great.
Very tasty.
I just had some. This is Drew making a tortilla burrito. Some of this stuff you'll see in the Hubble 3D movie if you get a chance to watch that here at the museum. You get to bring some things with you when you go into space. And one of the things that we brought was a replica of Galileo's telescope. This is an exact replica of Galileo's telescope. We got it from the museum. There's a Galileo museum in Florence. And this was made, it's not the one he used, but it's made from the same wood and the same lens from Murano glass in Venice. They manufactured just like the real Galileo's telescope was made. And we had that with us. We flew, the year 2009 was 400 years anniversary of Galileo making his discoveries and writing his book about how the solar system works. And if you ask astronomers, there's a lot of smart astronomers here. Ben's over here. If you ask astronomers, what is the greatest telescope ever made? Yeah, that one. Here you go. Thanks, Ben. You didn't let me down. That one in Hubble is what Ben said, because this one kind of started it all, right, Ben? It's tough when I'm talking about astronomy in front of these experts, because usually, so I got to watch what I say. But the Galileo's telescope kind of started it all off, of looking at the heavens with the telescope. And then right behind it, through our window, you can see the Hubble Space Telescope. So we had arguably the two greatest telescopes ever invented and together in space on Space Shuttle Atlantis. But I am a Mets fan. I grew up as a Mets fan. And that is home plate from Shea Stadium. So that's before they tore the stadium down. They sent me the home plate, and we were able to fly that in space. I had my Mets jersey with me. So anyway, I did return that to the Mets last season. Unfortunately, didn't help them score any runs. I thought it might be a good luck charm for them. So I did get to fly the home plate of my team in space, which was kind of fun. What you see is so incredible. But for me, it was during a spacewalk. During my second spacewalk on my first flight, where I really had time to look at the Earth, and it's just so magnificent. There's no way to really describe how beautiful it is, but the thought that went through my mind was, if you were in heaven, this is what you would see. And the thought that it was replaced by was, no, it's more beautiful than that. If this is what heaven must look like. I really felt like I was looking into paradise, and for me, that was it. Seeing the Earth in its entirety like that below you, and seeing how beautiful it is, it's very emotional. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking of it now, and it's been a long time. It's just so magnificent, and I know that there probably is life somewhere else. There's so many possibilities for life to be somewhere else, but I don't know. I just can't imagine. One of the thoughts that went through my mind was, I don't think there'd be a place as beautiful as our planet. It really is just so magnificent and beautiful. So that's probably my top one amongst many wonderful moments looking at our planet.